The day began like any other in the outer sectors of the Lyran Expanse, a sprawling region of contested star systems where alien powers had long assumed humans were a minor curiosity, a species too small, too fragile, too predictable to ever matter on galactic scale. Yet even as their fleets moved with deliberate confidence toward Earth's orbit, the humans were already steps ahead, not in brute force but in cunning adaptation, and an understanding of the cosmos that no alien council had bothered to recognize. As Admiral Kiran Patel watched the displays aboard the flagship Horizon, the human fleet seemingly sparse and under-equipped yet perfectly arranged in patterns that defied traditional tactics, the alien commander scoffing at the apparent simplicity while unknowingly walking into the carefully orchestrated trap laid across light years of preparation, the humans having spent decades studying alien psychology, communication patterns, and military doctrine, assimilating intercepted signals and quietly reverse-engineering the technology left behind in abandoned stations and pre-collapsed colonies, all of which culminated in a single, terrifying advantage: unpredictability, a quality no algorithm, no council, no AI could anticipate because it was inherently human, the ability to improvise, to adapt instantly to changing conditions, to leverage morality, emotion, and instinct in ways that turned logic and firepower into tools under human command rather than weapons against them. And as the first alien assault drones entered the orbital perimeter, expecting minimal resistance, they were met not with overwhelming firepower initially, but with sophisticated countermeasures that disabled sensors, scrambled targeting arrays, and fed false positional data back to the alien fleet, causing their formations to collapse and their calculations to unravel, while simultaneously humanity's small contingent of stealth frigates, using gravitic displacement, technology reverse-engineered from ancient probes, slipped undetected between alien vessels, planting electromagnetic disruptors that would cascade through the enemy network within minutes, and on Earth itself, in orbiting command stations, diplomats and scientists monitor the unfolding chaos with calm precision, knowing that every move, every misstep by the overconfident aliens was being turned into leverage. And when the alien command finally realized that the humans were not only defending but directing the battle with a clarity and coordination they had dismissed as impossible, panic rippled through their ranks, the fleet's cohesion disintegrating as contradictory orders collided, and in that very moment, the true scale of humanity's preparation became evident. Not merely survival, not merely defense, but an orchestrated revelation of strength that no species had expected from a planet they had long written off as insignificant, as the Horizon and its sister ships moved with uncanny precision through the battlefield. Humans were simultaneously protecting vulnerable colonies, rescuing stranded diplomats, and neutralizing key alien command nodes, turning every attempt at aggression into an exercise in futility, and in the alien councils, the first whispers of disbelief spread as subcommanders questioned how such a supposedly primitive species could achieve coordinated, multi-layered maneuvers across dozens of star systems in real time, realizing too late that every assumption about human predictability, every dismissal of their ingenuity, had been catastrophically wrong. And by the time the horizon of the conflict shifted irreversibly in humanity's favor, the aliens understood a single horrifying truth. They were facing a species whose unpredictability was its deadliest weapon, a species capable of bending not only the battlefield but the very rules of engagement. And that day, the galaxy began to learn that underestimating humanity was no longer a mistake that could be survived. The shockwaves of humanity's unexpected victory rippled through the surrounding systems, not in the form of destruction alone, but as a message that no alien intelligence had ever truly understood. Humans were not just adaptive but relentless, capable of seeing patterns and possibilities that even the most sophisticated alien AI could not anticipate, and as a remnant of the shattered Lyran fleets limped away in disarray, planetary governors and military strategists across human-controlled space were already coordinating the next moves, deploying rapid response teams to secure vulnerable trade routes, and using stealth reconnaissance probes to map alien recovery efforts, all while Earth scientists revealed new innovations in propulsion and defensive technology that made human forces appear omnipresent across multiple star systems at once, causing consternation in distant councils where alien leaders had once considered humans contained curiosity, yet now face a reality that humanity's reach was both deliberate and terrifyingly precise, a network of intelligence, diplomacy, and tactical genius intertwined with a willingness to act decisively when needed. And while some alien factions scrambled to send envoys, hoping to salvage treaties or buy time. Humans leverage these gestures to study the subtleties of alien negotiation strategies, extracting valuable insights about enemy hierarchy, internal rivalries, and strategic weaknesses. The same humans who had spent decades quietly constructing a planetary defense grid so advanced that even the largest assault fleets could not penetrate it without catastrophic loss. And from orbiting command centers, Admiral Patel and her team monitored not only the movements of enemy ships but the reactions of entire species to the revelation that humans were no longer predictable, noting patterns in alien behavior that could be exploited in future engagements. While on the ground, engineers and scientists worked in tandem to upgrade existing star bases with adaptive shielding and autonomous defense systems, simultaneously refining technologies capable of cloaking entire colonies from detection, ensuring that even in retreat, humanity maintained strategic advantage. And as the news of the collapse of alien plans spread through communications networks, formerly neutral civilizations began re-evaluating their stance toward Earth, some cautiously extending tentative alliances, others quietly bolstering their own defenses in fear of humanity's rising influence. Yet none could deny the truth. A species once dismissed as minor had demonstrated an unprecedented combination of strategic brilliance, moral courage, and sheer ingenuity, and as the first coordinated human fleet entered sectors previously controlled by rival powers, establishing secure supply lines and protective perimeters, alien leaders realized that the era of underestimating humanity had ended, replaced by a new reality in which humans dictated the tempo of conflict, chose when and where to intervene, and possessed a resilience and adaptability that no other species could match. And in every decision, every calculated maneuver, it became clear that humans were no longer playing by the expected rules, that their creativity and unpredictability were not anomalies but deliberate instruments of strategy, shaping not only the outcome of battles but the perception of power across the galaxy. And as the Lyran remnants regrouped, they understood that their prior assumptions about human behavior had been dangerously naive, that every misjudgment had compounded into a systematic dismantling of their authority, and that Earth's species was now a central force, capable of rewriting the balance of power and ensuring that any attempt to confine, manipulate, or control humanity would meet with consequences both precise and unavoidable. With the Lyran fleet in retreat and the galaxy still reeling from humanity's unpredictable tactics, Earth's leadership wasted no time expanding its influence, coordinating a series of rapid deployments to contested star systems where resource-rich planets and critical jump points had long been claimed by rival civilizations. Each mission meticulously planned with a dual purpose of strengthening human strategic positions and observing the reactions of alien powers who now approached every human move with a mixture of caution, fear, and disbelief, while scientists aboard orbital laboratories refined the deployment of gravitic disruptors and adaptive cloaking arrays that allowed human ships to appear anywhere almost instantaneously, giving the impression of omnipresence and forcing alien commanders to constantly second-guess their own calculations. And on multiple fronts, the humans demonstrated not only military superiority but an acute sense of diplomacy, negotiating alliances with previously neutral species by demonstrating both their protective capacity and their moral code, showing that humanity would defend those unable to defend themselves while punishing those who acted aggressively, a strategy that began to shift the balance of galactic power almost overnight. And in the Lyran capital, internal debates raged as factions argued over whether to continue aggression, attempt diplomacy, or retreat entirely. Yet no matter the option, each council member had to account for the undeniable fact that humans had shattered every expectation, using a combination of intuition, creativity, and rapid adaptation that no alien race had anticipated. While on the front lines, human commanders coordinated multi-layered operations where stealth frigates intercepted alien reinforcements, orbital bombardments neutralized enemy staging areas without collateral damage, and ground teams liberated colonies that had been under alien control for decades. The very act of liberation serving as both tactical advantage and psychological statement to the galaxy that humanity's reach extended far beyond Earth itself. And as intelligent reports came in from captured alien communication hubs, Admiral Patel and her staff discovered patterns of panic and disarray spreading among enemy fleets, each miscommunication amplified by the humans' deliberate manipulation of sensor readings, orbital interference, and tactical feints, revealing not only the physical prowess of humanity but the ability to bend perception, strategy, and expectation simultaneously. While back on Earth, Political leaders coordinated resources with unprecedented efficiency, funding scientific breakthroughs, expanding interstellar infrastructure, and establishing networks of loyal allies in systems previously considered too remote or too unstable. And all of this was done with an understanding that humans were no longer reacting but initiating, setting the rules of engagement, teaching the galaxy a new definition of power, adaptability, and unpredictability. And in secret observation posts, alien scholars and military advisors documented these maneuvers with growing alarm, realizing that humanity had internalized a form of strategy that was both fluid and adaptive, combining logic, creativity, and ethical judgment in ways no AI or council had ever managed. And as the day ended across the Lyran expanse, it became brutally clear humans had stopped being predictable, and the alien plans they had relied on for centuries had not merely failed. They had collapsed entirely under the weight of ingenuity, courage, and an unrelenting drive to act in defense of both themselves and those they deemed were protecting, establishing a new paradigm where the galaxy would never again underestimate Earth or its people. As the galaxy began to absorb the full consequences of humanity's unpredictability, entire sectors once dominated by complacent alien powers experienced rapid transformation under human influence, with strategically placed fleets not only securing resource-rich systems, but also establishing communication hubs, trade networks, and defensive outposts that functioned with a level of coordination and efficiency no alien administration had anticipated, and while human engineers and diplomats worked tirelessly to integrate newly liberated civilizations into a broader network of cooperation, alien commanders struggled to reconcile the chaos that miscalculations had unleashed, witnessing firsthand the consequences of underestimating a species whose strategic depth combined improvisation, foresight, and ethical considerations in ways that made conventional warfare nearly obsolete. And on the front lines, human strike teams executed precision operations across multiple star systems, neutralizing hostile installations, rescuing civilians, and simultaneously gathering intelligence on alien technology, all without overextending supply lines or compromising operational security, while advanced human AI systems, designed not to replace intuition but to enhance it, analyze battlefield data in real time, suggesting maneuvers that leverage both environmental conditions and psychological pressure against enemy forces, creating situations where alien fleets were forced into impossible choices, often retreating, surrendering, or being neutralized with minimal human casualties. And as the Lyran High Council convened emergency sessions, debates raged over the causes of their collapse, with factions arguing over whether human success was mere luck, divine intervention, or something more sinister and systematic. Yet the evidence was undeniable. Humanity had rewritten the rules of engagement, blending military science, diplomacy, and moral clarity in a way that made the galaxy itself feel unpredictable, with each new human maneuver sending ripples of uncertainty through distant star systems. And on Earth, scientists celebrated breakthroughs that had been years in the making, from advanced propulsion methods allowing near-instantaneous travel between key jump points to adaptive shielding capable of withstanding sustained orbital bombardment, while military tacticians studied every detail of alien communication protocols, turning enemy coordination into a tool for strategic advantage. And as ambassadors work with allied species, humans demonstrated a balance of compassion and assertiveness, protecting the weak while decisively punishing aggression, a combination that alien civilizations could not calculate or predict, causing further disarray among those who had once assumed humans would act only out of self-interest. And as fleets moved through contested space, the humans' presence became a stabilizing and dominating force simultaneously, demonstrating that their unpredictability was not chaos but calculated flexibility, a strategic philosophy that allowed them to act decisively, protect allies, and reshape entire sectors, leaving alien powers scrambling to respond, their pride and assumptions shattered. And in every observation post and council chamber across the galaxy, one terrifying realization spread. Humans had stopped being predictable, and with that, the balance of power had shifted irreversibly, marking the beginning of a new era where the initiative belonged entirely to Earth species, and no alien plan, no matter how meticulously crafted, could ever again assume humanity would act according to expectation. With humanity firmly establishing itself as a decisive force in multiple sectors, alien civilizations were forced to confront not just the tactical brilliance of human fleets, but the cultural and political implications of a species that refused to be constrained by expectation. as councils that had long assumed humans were minor players watched with mounting horror as entire planetary systems shifted allegiance almost overnight, drawn by humanity's blend of protection, justice, and strategic foresight. While human envoys negotiated treaties that simultaneously secured vital trade routes, reinforced defense agreements, and subtly realigned the political balance in favor of Earth without a single shot being fired in many cases, and yet on the front lines, the story was far from peaceful, as pockets of resistance, both alien and mercenary, attempted to reclaim territory or disrupt human supply chains, only to find themselves outmaneuvered by a combination of human ingenuity, adaptive technology, and psychological insight that turned every confrontation into a demonstration of capability. And across the galaxy, reports poured into humans rescuing trapped colonies, intercepting slave trades, and dismantling covert operations that had once gone unnoticed, creating a reputation that was rapidly transforming into legend, where tales of human decisiveness and unexpected intervention spread faster than fleets could move, shaking alien morale to its core. And within the Lyran High Council, arguments erupted over whether continued aggression against humanity was worth the risk, with younger strategists arguing for cautious engagement and older generals admitting privately that Earth species had displayed a mastery of strategy and adaptability that no previous civilization had. While on Earth, military planners were already preparing contingency measures for potential large-scale counterattacks, designing multi-layered strategies that combined orbital superiority, ground operations, and rapid response intelligence networks that allowed humans to act anywhere, anytime, in ways that alien commanders could not even imagine. And simultaneously, scientists unveiled innovations in energy projection, communication encryption, and environmental control that further amplified human capabilities across contested systems, while cultural emissaries worked to integrate liberated species into cooperative networks, creating alliances that strengthened humanity's position both morally and strategically. And as fleets moved to secure new territories, human commanders employed tactics that seemed unpredictable not out of recklessness but out of deliberate, multidimensional planning, drawing enemy forces into traps where deception, rapid redeployment, and moral levers combined to neutralize threats efficiently, leaving alien leaders scrambling to adjust. Their assumptions about human predictability repeatedly shattered, and as news of human successes reached every corner of occupied and neutral space, a single undeniable pattern emerged. The humans had rewritten the rules of engagement, demonstrating that their adaptability, strategic creativity, and unwavering commitment to both defense and justice rendered them a force that could not be contained or anticipated. And in the hearts and minds of alien civilizations, a sobering truth took root. The era of underestimating Earth had ended, replaced by a new reality in which humanity dictated the pace of conflict, the terms of alliances, and the boundaries of power. And as humans continued to expand their influence with precision, intelligence, and moral clarity, the galaxy learned, with a mixture of fear and awe, that one species had become unpredictable in a way that guaranteed the collapse of any plan designed to control or diminish it. As humanity's presence solidified across contested star systems, alien empires that had once dismissed Earth as insignificant were forced into a desperate reassessment of their strategies, with fleet commanders convening emergency councils and intelligence officers frantically analyzing human movements, only to find that no pattern could fully predict the next step, for humans had perfected a combination of foresight, adaptability, and intuition that transcended algorithmic reasoning. And on the front lines, human admirals orchestrated operations that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Stealth ships infiltrated enemy strongholds, simultaneously disabling weapons platforms and rescuing civilians, while orbital bombardment struck with pinpoint accuracy, neutralizing threats without destroying entire cities, demonstrating a mastery of precision and restraint that confounded alien notions of warfare. And as news of these operations reached distant sectors, even neutral species began realigning their loyalties, drawn to a civilization capable of both immense power and ethical judgment. While back on Earth, engineers continued to refine propulsion systems, adaptive shielding, and gravitic manipulation technologies, creating fleets that could appear unpredictably across multiple jump points, forcing alien commanders into constant defensive postures, unable to strike first without risking devastating countermeasures. And in the Lyran core, panic spread as entire fleets, reported failure after failure despite overwhelming numbers, as human strategists exploited minor weaknesses in coordination, logistics, and morale, turning each alien misstep into opportunity, while human diplomats capitalized on these victories to forge alliances, secure treaties, and neutralize potential adversaries before they could act, creating a web of influence that extended humanity's reach far beyond the immediate battlefields, and simultaneously, cultural emissaries introduced liberated civilizations to the principles that guided human strategy, resilience, adaptability, ingenuity, and a moral compass that emphasized protection and fairness alongside decisive action, reshaping political landscapes across dozens of star systems, and as humans moved to preemptively secure sectors vulnerable to future aggression. Alien leaders realized too late that every assumption they had held about predictability, control, and technological superiority had been fundamentally flawed. And when a coalition of previously hostile species attempted a coordinated strike to reclaim lost territory, human forces met them with a combination of defensive precision, psychological insight, and rapid redeployment that neutralized the attack without unnecessary destruction, demonstrating that unpredictability was not chaotic, but an instrument of strategy. A lesson that reverberated through every council chamber and command deck in the galaxy, and by the time the dust settled, the truth was undeniable. Humans had not only stopped being predictable, they had become the defining force in interstellar politics and conflict, a species whose ingenuity, adaptability, and moral resolve forced every other civilization to reconsider its position, strategy, and assumptions, and as fleets regrouped, treaties were rewritten, and alliances reshaped, the galaxy came to understand a single, inescapable reality. Humanity's rise was deliberate, unstoppable, and irrevocable, and those who had once sought to underestimate them had inadvertently ensured their own obsolescence in a universe that had suddenly become far more dangerous for anyone who dared oppose Earth. The culmination of humanity's unprecedented campaign across the galaxy arrived not with a single cataclysmic battle, but through a series of coordinated, deliberate actions that left alien powers scrambling to reconcile their pride with reality, as Admiral Kiran Patel oversaw a network of fleets and operatives that had now secured nearly every contested system, not merely through force but through strategic insight, diplomacy, and the calculated projection of unpredictability that had become humanity's trademark. And as alien empires convened emergency councils to assess the scale of their failures, they were confronted with the undeniable truth that every plan, every assumption, every expectation they had held about human behavior had been systematically dismantled, while humans continued to expand their protective influence, liberating oppressed civilizations, establishing secure trade and communication networks, and deploying technologies that rendered previous notions of interstellar warfare obsolete. And in sectors once dominated by arrogance and complacency, entire fleets and planetary governments quietly surrendered or rulined, recognizing that resistance was futile against a species that combined moral clarity, strategic brilliance, and adaptive ingenuity in ways no alien calculus could anticipate. And as humans moved to enforce new treaties, ensure stability, and protect vulnerable worlds, alien scholars and commanders alike documented each maneuver with a mixture of awe and fear, noting that humanity's unpredictability was not random chaos but a sophisticated instrument of influence that reshaped politics, warfare, and alliances simultaneously, while on Earth, scientists celebrated technological advancements that amplified this influence, from propulsion systems enabling instantaneous redeployment across multiple star systems to adaptive defense networks that could anticipate and neutralize threats before they materialized. And as a galaxy watched, it became clear that humanity's rise was not a temporary shift in power but a permanent transformation of interstellar dynamics, forcing every civilization to reconsider its assumptions about strategy, morality, and the limits of ingenuity. And in the climactic moment of reconciliation, alien leaders who had once scorned Earth bowed to necessity, forging alliances not from desire but from recognition of humanity's unmatched capacity to act decisively, unpredictably, and with purpose. And as Admiral Patel addressed the fleets and diplomatic envoys simultaneously, the message was simple yet profound. Humans would defend themselves, protect the innocent, and shape the galaxy according to principles of justice, strategy, and ingenuity. And in that moment, the galaxy understood a fundamental truth that would echo through generations. Humanity had stopped being predictable. Alien plans had collapsed under the weight of foresight and adaptability, and from that day forward, Earth species commanded not just respect, but an enduring place at the center of galactic affairs, a reminder to all that the underestimated, the overlooked, and the seemingly ordinary could, through courage, creativity, and relentless determination, reshape the fate of the stars themselves.